Okay, so our strength portion, we've got 2 EMOMs to work through today. Both are 10 minutes in length, and this is really important. With the EMOMs today, what you need to do is choose a repetition range and a scale that is going to allow you to build strength. And what I mean by that is you should be moving with good form every single rep, and we shouldn't be working to failure and working really bad reps. Now, strict handstand push-ups, not many people are going to have these, so I'm going to go through a couple of options. But firstly, have a think about, we want to think about that tripod position that Chip talks about a lot. And if you're not sure where your head should be contacting the floor, the best way of working it out, hit your head and then middle finger, where that middle finger finishes should be about the point you're making contact with the floor. What a lot of us do, because we're nervous about going upside down, is we look towards the floor. And all that happens is you end up hitting your forehead, and it's not a great position for the neck to finish in, particularly when you're fatiguing. So to work out where your head should be contacting the floor, palm goes to the forehead and then middle finger, and then we want it roughly where the middle finger finishes. The other thing that you want to think about in your strict handstand push-up position is we build a tripod, and the tripod is hand to hand to middle of the head. Now, what we tend to see a lot of when we're doing scales of strict handstand push-ups is, particularly in the bottom position, this, which isn't a good position for your head, your neck to be in, but it's also not going to get you strong in that handstand push-up position. So if we want to build that tricep strength, at the bottom of the push-up I should be here, and like a push press, in the top of the push-up I should be here. Okay, so that means I'm going to drive my head through my arms to finish that rep. And if you're against a wall doing a strict handstand push-up, that's also going to give you a little bit of balance as well. I'm going to tuck my t-shirt in this time so I don't flash everyone. So I'm obviously on slightly low platform. You probably want something that's about a chair height in order to do strict handstand push-ups. I'm going to show you 2 variations of scales, and then we'll talk about against the wall. So hands are going to go down to the floor, and in the top position, I need my hips to be stacked over my shoulder line. So I should be looking like this, and then pushing through the hands and hollowing to finish that handstand push-up. What we want to avoid is this, or this. Because the second scenario is just using my legs, and ideally I want to be pushing through my arms. Your next option is to do it without the platform. To get into this position, hold tight, hollow, same landing position, and then push yourself back up. That is definitely the harder option for me, so I always have to have a mat underneath my head to give me a little bit of a marker. And then obviously your final option, your strict handstand push-ups, is to do them against the wall. Now what I would suggest is, if you're working strict handstand push-ups against a wall, normally we would stack ab mats. 1 ab mat is the absolute max on that. If you're working 2 ab mats, it's a really nice scale to get used to being upside down, but it's not going to build strength in that range. We need to build strength in that range. So from that perspective, our first 10-minute EMOM, where you're working strict work, it needs to be a strength-based work. If you only work in that range, it's not going to translate to that full range. So if you're someone who uses 2 ab mats, great for getting used to being up against the wall and upside down. For strict work, let's get those ab mats out of the way, or max of 1 ab mat or similar, or a cushion. The second 10-minute EMOM, so give yourself a couple of minutes rest between those. The second 10-minute EMOM, same rules apply. We're now working kipping handstand push-ups. This is going to be a little bit harder for some of you who don't yet have that movement. So you could continue working in that strength range and working off a block or a box. If you are someone who can get up against a wall and you can maybe do a couple of kipping handstand push-ups, great, have a play with that. Choose a repetition range and a scale that is appropriate for you. But if we're working on that drive strength, what might be useful for some of you who are not yet near kipping handstand push-ups is to do something like a hip drive into a push. That might be a nice scaling option for you, just to get used to hip drive into a push. So just grab a couple of light dumbbells, or lighter dumbbells for now, and the sequence of movement is a little bit like a push press. So I'm going to go hip drive, and as I lock out the hips, that hip drive is going to give me the momentum to get those dumbbells off my shoulders. Okay? If you've got any questions or you're not sure on your scaling options, speak to your coaches, message me as well. I'm a bit slow getting back to people. Message me there and I will eventually get back to you, probably Friday. But if you've got any questions, you're more than welcome just to get on and contact me. Wonderful. Great stuff. So once we've done our EMOMs, we then have some accessory work. And you're doing 4 rounds of 12 per side of a power raise into some prone angels. So your power raise, 12 per side, come into a side plank position. You're going to come into a kneeling side plank, weight is going to come out to the side, and then I go for a large arc raise here, 12 per side on that one. And then your prone angel, you need a light weight. For this, I'd suggest lighter water bottles if you don't have your fractional plates. Lie yourself down, head down to the floor, and then we're going through this movement. 8 per side on that one. With those, it's really important you rest the head because it switches some of the neck muscles off and we need those relaxed in that movement. Okay, good stuff.